Okay.
Just like that? Okay. How do you feel?
Kyle, I'm not sure if this is a good idea. Kyle? Hey Kyle, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing fantastic. It's good to see you.
You too, man. You too.
How has your summer been?
Summer's been okay, you know. Been trying to do research at the VA. They've had me in a holding pattern for about 2 months, and finally got access to the patient records, and so I get to do a whole summer's worth of research in 2 weeks.
Well, congratulations. Here's your prize.
That's right.
Hard work and perseverance.
That's right. That's what bureaucracy and red tape gets you. I love you, VA. I didn't mean that.
Okay, yeah.
How about your summer?
Oh, it was pretty good. I was in Dallas doing summer research, so a lot of exploring, lots of fun, and great new lab, great times. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
So I feel like, I'm sure with you, with all this extra work you have, it must be hard getting up in the morning.
Yes, and that's what brings me to this week's topic is what gets us up in the morning. Sometimes I have so much in front of me and it just seems like such a burden. I don't want to get up. I want to put my head back on the pillow. So I know what gets me up, right? And we can explore that a little bit. But I also want to know what gets some of our fellow students up in the morning.
Right. Yeah, sometimes medical students and people from all backgrounds that are working hard, you wake up and you feel like you have this huge burden on your shoulders, and it can be hard to get up. And yeah, we're going to look into what motivates us, what gives us that extra push to get us up and get us going.
Yeah.
For me, it's cereal.
Coffee.
Chocolate milk in cereal.
Purpose.
Birds.
Why birds?
Well, it's actually just one bird. He's my pet parrot.
Why do you have a pet parrot in medical school? How do you take care of that?
Oh, well, I just kind of wing it. For me, I guess the issue that I struggle with is I go to bed super, super late and I have to wake up really early, but I'm just really irresponsible about it. I feel like sometimes I just mistake my mornings for nap time.
Dan, did you say nap time or
rap time?
When I wake up in the morning, the horror starts and I'm pouring over notes as well as coffee on my Hario assortment. Then it's back to biting chunks from this inordinate proportion of my life that's spent exploring facts presented in my courses. I dress in mental torture knowing that the seconds spent on donning socks and shoes are adding to the debt accrued when snoring. I'm a classic case of placing all my eggs inside a basket sat atop a stack of matches torn from books I think I've mastered. So what gets me up? A bunch of silly stuff, like a boat beside a house worth $1 million. I just want another H on my transcripts and let you in on my exam scores evidence. The undercutting specialist, the early bird who can't afford not to feed his ego, letting people know the pecking order. Cause when I push aside the blinds and let the light shine, I've been gunning for that top spot since the nighttime.
"6:30 a.m. my brain feels in shambles and alarm's gone off. This morning's rough like skillet eggs, I'm scrambling. I'm out of bed, I gotta practice patient interviews. I'm feeling bad, I didn't go to bed till 2, but early to rise and early to bed makes a dude healthy but socially dead. Some students study 7 to 7, my guy'll nap till 11. Awake with the sunrise, hit the bed as the light shines down on the story I'm writing, the paper I'm buying, to comprehend like the wirings of the temporal gyrus. Working to save lives, it's once in a lifetime. Striving to be kinder from morning to nighttime. With poor people so fantastic and work so important, how could it be challenging to wake in the morning?" Wow, Kyle, I really appreciated your perspective on what gets you up in the morning. So it sounds like you start off describing yourself as this medical student with insecurities and this desire to do well. And then you sort of gradually transition into this sort of massive monster of destruction that crushes the souls of any other med student who dares to stand in your way.
Yeah, pretty much. I wanted to really juxtapose my insecurity and egomania to really highlight the importance of soul-crushing efforts.
I see. So there's no, I feel like you feel like you just want to destroy anyone who gets in your way. You want to be at the top, and you're willing to climb over as many people as it takes.
Yeah, that's why I came into medicine.
Oh. Well, that's very interesting, Kyle. What did you think of what I had to say?
Dan, I felt like you and I really went in two different directions.
Okay.
And I think this altruism and empathy bit is a little trite. It's a little overplayed.
Okay.
I think that it's a little ingenuine.
Oh, I see. It's a sign of weakness.
Precisely. Yeah. Yeah. So I would suggest maybe next time you wake up in the morning, dig deep.
Dig deep.
Really,
and just
really find that soul-crushing juggernaut.
Yes. Hatefulness. That is
Yes.
what drives all human beings.
The bone-crushing power of the mallet.
So there's no
in the form of ego.
So what about caring in medicine? Caring for your patients, for people around you, supporting your coworkers.
Dan, like I said, I want a boat, and that's why I'm here.
Well, to steer the conversation away from boats and the lack of empathy, how about we show you some interviews we did with some other medical students?
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, those were pretty cool.
Yeah, those were good.
Unfortunately, they last about 10 minutes long, so we included them as a separate video.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we've added some highlights just to encourage you to go check it out. First, we've brought in Madeline. This is Miranda. So for our third person, we've got Omar here. Well, the first one will be what gets you up in the morning?
So, in all seriousness, what gets me up in the morning is my sister, both figuratively and literally. She usually is the person that wakes me up to make it to class in the morning, but also she is a person that's my motivating factor for medicine.
I would say an overall theme is just the people and the connections that I've made in my life.
How lucky I am to be where I am, and how many people would like to be where I am is generally what gets me there.
Whole milk 2% or almond milk? Whole milk 2% or almond milk?
Do you know what the difference between goats and sheep are? I don't know. See, the thing is, when everyone tells me, like...
Wow, Kyle, those were some pretty interesting perspectives.
Yeah, and I think the biggest takeaway that we can take away is that goats really haven't been studied very thoroughly in medical science.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like we need to understand better what the differences are between sheep and goats.
Yes.
I feel like that's very important for us to focus on in the future.
Lest we become sheep.
Very true, Kyle. And I think in addition to that, we also learned what gets people up in the morning, and it seems that a common thread is the connections they have. The personal connections that help motivate them to get up, to get going, to do what needs to be done. Give them that extra little push.
Yeah, I think as social creatures, that's such an important element for us to have people to connect with, right, in a very general sense. And I would also say, like on a more individual level, sometimes when I look ahead to my day, I think, oh my gosh, I've got all this, and this, and sometimes I consider it all this work such a burden, right? And it'll make it difficult to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
And I compare that to my free days, right, where I can do whatever I want, whenever I want to do it, right? And somebody once told me that that isn't freedom, but it's lawlessness, right? And that real freedom comes from inside, in that it's being free of that voice, that naysayer, that tells me not to get up in the morning, that this work is too much, or this work is not worth it, this work is too boring, and being able to move despite all of that.
Right. Yeah, I've found in med school that sometimes I'll have this voice in my head that says, man, these enzymes are so boring. Man, I'm so tired. Why am I doing this? But I think, in a sense, freedom is not being able to do whatever you want. Freedom is being free of that nagging voice. In the sense, the box you're in is the idea that you're in a box. You know, not to get too philosophical. I also find that just being, like, here at Carver, at our medical school, being at a place where you feel welcome, where you're surrounded by people who are legitimately happy to see you, that can make that burden so much easier, and just feeling connected to the people around you. So, I think that's so important.
I agree.
So, yeah, now that we've discussed all this, now that we've learned about mornings, I have committed to being more responsible about my sleep schedule. I will be in bed at 3 a.m. today instead of 4.
And I will reconsider my position as a gunner.
Oh, hey! If you liked our video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, dislike and subscribe. It's what do you think, Kyle? What's your? All right. Thank you. Peace out.
Thanks,
later.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.